What's up, YouTube? Back with another video, and today I'm gonna be talking about plays, answering a couple questions that I get kind of often, and also just talking about how I implement plays in my game, as well as when and why I use certain plays in certain situations. And y'all know I do a lot of playbook videos and stuff, and show off a lot of like money play of the day shorts, but I never really made a video like this, so I figured I'd do that. And plays are some of the most underutilized resources on the game, and people often ask, well, are they even worth using? Just because of how the game is. Like, you really don't need to use plays in order to be successful, but I do recommend adding them to your game. They've helped me a lot. I know they've helped a lot of people that watch me, and so I 100% think that they are useful. But there is like some nuance and like a little bit of a learning curve to using them. It's not as simple as just run the play, get an open shot, score. They do take some getting used to and like some practice. So if you're just starting to like use them, there will be some growing pains, but it's definitely worth it in the end. Another question I get is, how often do I run plays? Do I run plays every single possession up the court? And I think the best way to do it is just to mix them in. Like, whatever your normal offense is, just run that, but then also mix in some plays here and there. I've done both. Like, I've got videos where I was like messing around with certain game plans, and every time up the court it'll call a play. I've had games where I would just sprinkle in the plays here and there, and then I've also had games where I didn't run any plays at all. I do feel like the best way to go about it is just to like sprinkle them in every few possessions or whatever. Using the play every single time up the court is fine sometimes against certain players, or even the CPU. You can kind of do whatever you want against them, but I feel like there was a lot of games where it just started feeling too robotic, and you don't really want that. You still want to be free flowing, but still have some structure. And so I feel like mixing in plays like every few possessions or whatever is the best way to do it. Because like I said, calling a play every single time up the court, you don't want to feel too robotic. And so when you just like sprinkle them in like here and there, I feel like that's the best way to do it. And that's the strategy that I've had the most success with. Now getting into some of the ways I implement plays in my game, as well as some of the situations I use them in. And one of those situations is late game situations. Having one or two plays up your sleeve at the end of games is such a game changer, and it could be the difference between you winning and losing games. So in this example right here, it's 47 seconds left. I'm down by 4. I really need a bucket. And so I call this play GSW quick to give Ricky. It's a 3-point play for Pager. I talked about this play in my Warriors playbook too. And so I'll let the play run. Once I see, like right here, I'm looking at Rui. Like when I call, like especially off-ball screen plays, I'm looking at the screeners. I'm looking at his Page's defender. I'm not really looking at Page. I'm looking at his defender. Once I see Rui like this, I already know I got the shot. So I just got to green it. Right. And so now I'm down 1. And here you can see the contrast of how games end a lot of the times when people don't have anything that they could go to at the end. So he gets the ball up to Luka, and he just takes a stupid shot. I get a stop. C-Web gets the rebound. He's fast, so I just go all the way, get a dunk. Now I just need another stop. And again, having plays at your disposal at the end of games could be the difference between winning and losing, because look at this last possession. He calls ISO. All right. I move over Vlade because Jackson Hayes can't shoot. And like, look at this offense. He has nothing. He has nothing he could go to. Get that shit out of here. I'll win the game. So, like I said, having plays at the end of games is such a game changer, and you just feel so much more prepared for these situations. Here's another example. I'm down 2. 41 seconds left. I need a bucket. So I go for a quick 12-hammer snap in the Kings playbook. And also another thing that I would do is, if I'm playing against someone who's like pretty good, they're paying attention, they're playing lanes, they kind of like reading the plays, I won't even call the plays throughout the game. I'll hold them until the end of the game. And so in this play right here, I didn't call the whole game. And so this is going to be something that's going to catch them off guard. And so I run it. I'm able to get all the way to the rim with Westbrook, get a dunk. And he's gonna go all the way down, get a dunk, because like Zach Levine is like the most horrible defender on this game, bro. He doesn't do anything. He didn't stop him. He didn't get in the front. None of. But anyways, I'll run it again. And so with a play like this, it's a good play to run like multiple times in a row like this. I normally don't do this, but with this play, seeing that I got to the rim the first time with Westbrook, I know he's not gonna let me do that again. And so I'm gonna let the play run out so I could get that three for Levine. And it worked out perfectly right here. So I get to the rim with Westbrook. I don't shoot that. I make him jump because he thinks I'm gonna get that dunk. I kick out to Levine, and now I got a 1 point lead. So again, having plays in these situations, such a game changer. So this one right here, I'm down one, 20 seconds left in the game, 14 seconds left on the shot clock. I call this play Fix 62 Horns Nash. I talked about this play in my Blazers playbook, but it's a play that I could get into my mid range, like right here on the elbow, depending on which side of the court I call it on. And I'm down one, so I'm not being greedy. I'm gonna take my easy mid with Damian Lillard. Like that was the plan, right? So I call the play. Boom. I get the step back with Dame Darius Garland. He's too short and too far away to contest. So, hey, I get a shot to put me up one. Now I just gotta play defense. And again, he don't got nothing that he could go to. He's gonna try to get it to Lillard. I mean, not Lillard. Donovan Mitchell. He sells the game. GG's. Another way I use plays is to get my non-shot creators and movement shooters involved. So guys like Klay Thompson, Duncan Robinson, Michael Porter Jr., Paige, Con Knipple, Luke Kennard, Grayson Allen. Plays are a great way to get those guys involved because they're not like the best dribblers and shot creators, but run them off some screens and they'll be able to get some open shots. And these are some of the most deadliest shooters on the game. So you want them to get those shots. And another situation I'd use plays in is against off ballers, especially like the chronic ones that just stay on the center or somebody in the corner. They don't help, they don't hedge, they don't do nothing but just stand there. It's like a lot of times like they'll just let the play develop right in front of their face and won't budge. Like they'll just want the computer to do everything defensively for them. So plays can be useful against people like that. If they're off balling on the center, you can run some pick and rolls. You don't even have to be a pick and roll play. You could just run pick and roll, take advantage of them that way. But you can also again point out like somebody who's not a good defender or a screen navigator and just go at that player because the off baller isn't going to help them. They're just going to let them die on the screens. And so you can use plays as well as pick and roll to take advantage of the off ballers. Another way I use plays is to take advantage of or create mismatches or just attack bad defenders. And so right here, I call this play punch 21 delay. This is a post up play, but it starts out as like an inverted pick and pop. So I give Ben Carroll the ball and Jalen Suggs is going to be the screener. And so when I run it, I'm able to force this switch with Van Vliet. And so now I got Van Vliet in the post against Ben Carroll, and it's just an easy bucket. Also use plays to take advantage of height mismatches as well as to attack defenders who aren't good defenders or just bad screen navigators. And so right here, I call this play quick to dive corner for Duncan Robinson because he has Jalen Brunson on him. And what a lot of people would do is put like their best perimeter defender on Cade and then put their non-defensive guard on Duncan Robinson. And I guess for most people that'll work because most people don't use plays, so he's just gonna be standing in the corner. But when I notice that, I make sure to get Duncan involved. And so right here, I just call this simple play. And he gets wide open, but even if Jalen Brunson is a little closer, I'll still shoot the ball because I got the height mismatch and y'all know how this game works. If you're just taller than somebody, you can just shoot over him. So it's a quick, simple play. You don't get this wide open that often, but against like defenders that aren't really good screen navigators, as well as like short people, you could definitely call this and then just shoot the ball over them and get some open shots. And here's another clip of me doing the same thing, but just against Steph Curry. And in this one right here, I call this play quick 13 slip for Mike Dunleavy. He's being guarded by Kenyon Martin, and Kenyon Martin, he has decent speed for his size, but he's still a big that's not really good on a perimeter, and he's not a good screen navigator. And so not only does this work against, smaller players and you can shoot over them, you can use this if you have like a speed mismatch, or if you have a bigger, taller player that's not really that fast or not a good screen navigator. You can call plays to get an open shot for whoever's guarding that person. So I decide to attack Kenyon Martin right here, basically. And I get a wide open three. It's like he didn't even try right there. So that's another way you can take advantage of mismatches. So now I'm gonna get into some of like the little nuances and things that you just kind of learn when you start using plays a lot more. And one of those things is disguising your play. Depending on what play you call, you or who you're going against, you probably don't have to do this, but there are plays that sometimes they take a little bit to develop, or they may have you just standing around doing nothing while the play develops. And so you don't want to make it too obvious that you're running something, or you don't want to make it obvious who you're running it for. Like if someone notices you running something, then like whatever, like you got to stop it. But if they could see that you're running something and they can see who you're running it for, like they can see the whole thing a mile away, then that's bad. And so this is why like I always try to like dribble around and look to make a play while the play is running, so that the defense has to play me honest. And so right here, he tries to run a play for Curry against me, right? And so I see Moody has the ball out here. He's not about to make a play with Moody. The ball is going back to Curry. And once I see them line up like this, I'm like, all right, he's probably gonna run something. And so I switch off to Mike Dunleavy, and I step in the lane and I get an easy steal. So you don't want to do that. Like you don't want to make it that obvious that you're running that. And he tries the same exact thing again. So I switch off and I steal the ball again. Back to back possessions. Don't be like that guy. Don't make it too obvious that you're running something. And if you're gonna run the same play, like at least like know your options out the play and use different options, because if you give people the same look, they will catch on. Also, another thing that's important is knowing your options if the play doesn't work, because the play isn't always going to work every single time. Sometimes the defense just plays it well, but even if the play doesn't work as designed, there are times where you still create opportunities that you could take advantage of. You just got to know how you want to take advantage of them. And so right here, I call this play for Rudy Gay. And with this play, if I don't get the open shot, a lot of times I'll have a step on my defender and I'll be able to get to the rim, which is exactly what I do here. So I call the play. Rudy Gay, he comes off the screens. And so now a lot of people be like, oh, this play is trash. It doesn't work. It didn't work right here. Now, it may work against another defender, another team. Plays are like that sometimes. They work against some, teams or players or defenders, and other times, not so much. But right here, I don't get the three, but I still create an opportunity for myself because Kelly Oubre has the closeout. And so I'm able to just get past him. And now Rudy Gay, he's one of the best finishers on the game. So I'm able to get into the lane and get a dunk. But I know that I can do that because I know my options out of this play if it doesn't work, which is a reason why I call it for Rudy Gay, because if I call it for someone who's not as athletic, I don't get that other opportunity. And so in this one, I call this play right here, quick one chess for Dame. And out this play, I already know I'm either going to get an open shot or I can attack a closeout, right? And so call the play. He jumps, right? And so now he defended it well. The play didn't work, but I know my options out to play. So I see him jump and I just give him a nice little side step and get my shot off. So it be little stuff like that that when you start using plays, you start adding to your game. And just because a play doesn't work as designed, it can still create advantages for you that you can take advantage of. So in the first one, defender was out of position, so I was able to get a blow by and get a dunk with Rudy. And in this one, I forced the defender to jump at me on the closeout, so I just take a little sidestep. And so knowing how to take advantage of those types of opportunities is really going to help you because all the advantages that you create aren't always like super obvious. Sometimes it's just little stuff like that. Another thing that's important is breaking the play when you see an opportunity. Just because you call a play, you don't always have to run the entire play how it's supposed to be. Like if you see something that you can take advantage of, then do that. And so right here, I call this play Detroit Quick 2 Floppy. I call this for Duncan Robinson. He's supposed to come out to the wing and get a three. But if I notice I can drive the lane with a Sar Thompson, I do that. And I've dunked on a lot of people with this play. So I get the ball to Wasar. And so right here, I get past Josh Hart. And Duncan, he's supposed to like run off these screens right here. But nobody's really in the paint. And it's one of those little things that I like about this play because it puts Duran at the elbow, which puts his man at the elbow. And so he's usually not in help position. And even if he does help, he can't help Brunson off the screen when Duncan comes up here. So he's kind of in like this hedge defender's kind of in a tricky situation. But like I said, I'm able to get downhill with Asar. And then since Brunson is guarding Duncan Robinson, he's like the one that's protecting the rim right here, which is not what you want. And so he just gets dunked on. And so that's one of those instances where I would break the play because I see that I can get this easy dunk with Asar. So you don't got to marry yourself to the play. If you see an opportunity, go ahead and take it. And in this example right here, I call this play GSW punch for wing quick. I think this is technically a post-up play, but before the post-up, Curry, he just gets a simple like down screen and comes out to the wing. So it's only 12 seconds left. I just tried to run like something real quick. And so I run it. And I notice both defenders go out to Curry. And so that leaves Draymond wide open. So I break the play. Like I don't run the play how it's supposed to be. I don't get that ball to Curry because I can see the defender come out and Curry draws too. So breaking the play, paying attention to like the defenders and taking your opportunity when you see it is important when you use plays. Another one of those little nuances that I also like talk about when I explain the plays is giving a certain player the ball to initiate the play to either give yourselves more options or just give yourself better options. And so right here, I call this play Dallas Quick 3 Floppy Curl. I call this for Clay. But what happens is Kyrie also gets some screens and goes curls around to like the elbow area. So normally if Kyrie has the ball, then it'll be Cooper Flag like coming around the screens, getting to like the mid range. But Kyrie, he has 99 mid range and he's quick. So he could attack a closeout, get to the rim, get a layup. And so he's better on that action than Cooper Flag is. So I give Cooper Flag the ball so that Kyrie can run off the screens. And so he was actually open if I make the pass on time. And that's another thing too. Make sure your passes be on time. But Kyrie gets the ball here. And here, like, I could get a mid range. I could attack a closeout because you can see like everybody's over here and nobody's in the paint. But I just let the play run and I end up getting a three with Klay Thompson. And this play right here is 25 horns back. This is a pick and roll play designed for Tyler Hero, but you could also get some lobs because there's a backdoor action. So if I have the ball with Davion Mitchell here, that lob option is not really on the table. I just have to throw a regular pass. But since I have Andrew Wiggins, that lob is an option now. And so this is why I purposely give the ball to Andrew Wiggins to initiate the play because he sets the screen and I'm able to get that lob off to Andrew Wiggins. So It'd be little stuff like that, you know, again, you start to learn when you start using plays, is having certain people initiate the play so that you can either give yourself more options or better options. And with that, that's pretty much the end of the video. There's a lot more other things that I could talk about, but I'm gonna leave it there. I haven't been playing since like last season, like that last season where I did that stream, like a couple, like 2 days before the season ended was the last time I played. So I'm gonna start playing again. I do, because I do want to get some gameplays with the Braun era teams that I unlocked. So be on the lookout for those gameplays. As always, put in the comments how you know how you feel about the video, or you know anything that you feel like I missed or you agree with or not agree with. You know, let us know in the comments. And as always, I hope this helped you. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more content.